Tokenization as an improvement for transaction. Tokenization is a process by which we store customer information such as credit card data, ACH data, billing addresses, and we obtain a unique identifier representing the customer information we just stored. This unique identifier is what we call the token. Our platform offers a product called as Token Management Service, which allows for storing, transacting, and generating statistics of all operations performed with tokens. One of the main purposes of tokenization is to increase security. Using sensitive customer data and transaction raises the likelihood of security breaches. So here, tokenization will allow us to prevent using sensitive data when performing a payment transaction. For example, if we were performing a transaction supplying a credit card number, security code, cardholder name, and expiration date, all of this data would have to travel across the network, exposing it to malicious software like sniffers, which could capture the data and compromise it, making it susceptible to fraud. Instead, our platform allows us to complete transaction using just tokens in which the unique identifier is the only piece of information that would have to travel across the network, increasing security. Even if malicious software obtains a token, the token by itself will be meaningless since it would be impossible to reverse engineer the token to uncover the credit card data. Another key goal of tokenization is customer loyalty. Our platform offers the possibility of retrieving token information about a transaction activity of a certain customer, regardless of which payment methods they have been using during all the transaction history. This makes a deeper introspection in customer buying behavior possible and enables any merchant to improve the relationship with their customers. Merchants may make more personalized offers, they can make more personalized purchase and payment options available across all their customers' channels, likely like desktop, mobile, in-app, or in-store. As an example, let's suppose that a merchant wants to identify how many customers use a bank account for most of the transactions in order to encourage them to move from bank account to a credit card. For this, our platform offers a powerful API endpoint called Transaction Search. When a REST call is performed against the Transaction Search endpoint, we receive all the transactions closed by all customers, and in turn, we will be able to filter those made using a certain bank account. With this valuable information, the merchant will be able to make a special offer to identified customers, which consists of a set of discounts that is to be applied when a credit card is used instead of a bank account. Our platform gives you tools to create a token employing REST API calls that is used to make an authorization. The main benefit is that it allows to save an additional REST API call, which simplifies the software architecture of the system that will be connected to our payment platform. Of course, if we want to create a token using a REST API call destined only for that purpose, we're easily able to do so. In the following instructions, we will describe two ways of creating a token that represents a credit card. In order to create a credit card token and make an authorization using a REST API call, we will need to make a POST request to the payments v2 payment endpoint, adding the token create string to action list array from the processing information object. The call will return token data in the token information object present in the response set. A second way of creating a token that represents credit card data is making a POST request to the TMS v1 instrument identifiers endpoint, providing the credit card number in the property of the card object. This operation will create a new credit card token without making an authorization, and the call will return a new unique identifier which is present in the ID property along with some digits of the credit card number for which the token was created. Additionally, the state of the token and its type will be included in our response. We will make an authorization using two tokens, one that represents a customer and the other that represents a credit card. To achieve this, we will need to make a POST call to our payments API pointing to PTS v2 payments. In this call, we will specify in the payload the customer token ID and the payment instrument ID, which in this case is the credit card. And in order to indicate these two token IDs, we'll fill the payment information object setting customer and payment instrument properties. These two properties are objects which in turn have a property called ID that will contain customer token ID and payment instrument ID respectively. Once we get the response of the call, we will know if the authorization was successful or not. In the second scenario, we will show you how the token management service can be integrated with other modules like Decision Manager. Let's say we want to run a fraud scoring test against a certain customer. In order to achieve this, we need to make a post API call to the risk v1 decision REST API endpoint, specifying the token ID that represents the customer in the customer ID property, the customer object that belongs to the payment information parent. Once we run the call, we'll obtain the information regarding the fraud scoring situation, which includes the payment information. For example, the credit card that is involved in scoring test, the risk information that shows indicators like score, among other risk factors, the testing model used, and of course the final status of this test that will determine if running the transaction with this customer is accepted or rejected. As a conclusion, we learned that tokenization is a mechanism that helps replace sensitive payment information like credit card numbers, ACH data, billing addresses with a unique identifier called token. This helps strengthen security because only the token travels across the network, performing transaction instead of sensitive payment data. At the same time, the platform allows to retrieve transaction information related to the tokens, which enables a better examination of customer behavior and in turn makes it possible for merchants to improve customer loyalty.